wrinkle on things here. That's me. I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, it depends on how it all goes. You never know how stressful life may get. But I will be by the ocean, definitely. And I got that off the open source photos, and I'm always afraid someone in one of my audiences is going to go, "What are you doing with my grandma's picture up there?" Anyway, this shows you age structure in Utah, past and projected. These blue rectangles are the number of youth per 100 working age people, and the red are the number of people 65 years and older per working age person. Back here, when we had phenomenally high fertility rates we had in Utah, U.S., excuse me, this is post-World War II baby boom, 61 youth per 100 working age people, 18 elders. The post-World War II baby boomers become working age. They then become retirees. So we are there and we are here. And you'll notice the youth component of this dependency ratio stabilizes at about 40. Here's Utah. And again, there we are with our highest in the nation fertility rates. But isn't it interesting that we stabilize in the high mid-40s for our youth dependency ratio? 40, high mid-40s. Gosh! That doesn't look like we're returning to these crushing dependency ratios that everybody's talking about as a reason to not fund education and health of our youth. Isn't that interesting? That language, that rationale no longer fits the reality of who Utah has become. And by the way, notice the elderly dependency ratio just about stabilizes as it does nationally. So this is the future really that's emerging. We're handing off to this next generation the largest ever demographic burden ever, incredible technological complexity and global competition, and by the way, let's just toss in climate change. And I can't say that for every audience, so let me say it again. And what about climate change? Wow, that felt so good. So, we're extremely interconnected as a species, but we understand now that we live at a time of incredible abundance and incredible ability, and that the investments that we make today change the way the future turns out. We know that to be the case. Our investments in community learning centers, our investments in infrastructure, including green infrastructure, and most importantly, our investments in the next generation's health and education. Now, we have an industrial policy. We don't talk about it. We don't have planned economies here. We just let the free markets go. We certainly do have an industrial policy. No one speaks it. The industrial policy is we protect the financial sector. We make sure that they are protected from all great risk, and we catch them if they fall. We protect the very wealthy. We continue to develop policies that redistribute wealth and income to the very high income. We allow globalization and the outsourcing and outshoring of jobs that have gutted the middle class. We have a military-industrial complex. There I said it. I said climate change, and I said all those other unspoken things I'm not supposed to say, that is our national industrial policy. That's what hides behind free markets. Now, imagine, if you might, an alternative industrial policy where we say we're going to invest in our communities. We're going to create a new economy based on dealing with climate change, based on reducing carbon output, based on bringing food production close to where we live, based on investing in our communities, not bringing in cheap manufactured stuff that we don't really need anyway. Who needs a 60 or 80-inch television, for heaven's sake? Mine's 36 inches, and I'm supposed to be embarrassed, Who needs it? Why could we not talk about that? Why could we not make that our priority? We certainly can. And we can certainly bring more people, young people, age 20 to 35 don't have meaningful work. You've got people with master's degrees who are out of work. It doesn't have to be that way. We have the ability, as our predecessors and previous generations, I mean, if you watch the Roosevelts or read about the Roosevelts, you can create an industrial policy and own it. It's just that our political system now has us all shoved to the sideline so that by the time the elections occur, the choices are not that different. But imagine, if you will, an alternative way to move resources and make decisions to create the world that we know we need to for the future of the next generation and for the future of Utah and for the future of our planet. Thanks very much.